Hey guys, today we start with a new topic on Excel, which is related to visualization, and that is charts. Very, very important topics when you're working on dashboards or any kind of analysis that you want to put or convey to your managers, or you want to showcase on your data uh, through various visualization techniques. For that, we need to understand what are charts first. Okay. Now, charts is nothing but a good tool which can be used to visualize your data because, as you can know, uh, picture tells you much better story than the data alone. I alone with this particular data, I won't be able to analyze anything unless and until I am able to visualize that data. Okay. So we start with charts today. How we can insert chart? We'll see the chart first and then subsequently get into detailed of individual charts. So let's get into simple chart and try to understand how we can use it towards various ways to analyze data. Okay. So let me create a simple chart of ID to this sales of Jan. So where do I go? I go to insert, yeah, and I have this chart here. Okay. So I have column chart, I have line chart, I have scatter chart, pie chart, bar chart, statistical combo. There are various other chart as well, hierarchical, waterfall, radar, funnel chart. Okay. So we will dwell into this individual charts one by one. Yeah. So let's create a simple chart as of now. I'll just create a simple common column chart over here. Yeah, there's a simple column chart that we are seeing here. That is ID to the chart title. Okay. Now this is your chart. Now, once you get this chart or come out of the chart, you'll find there's an option that is being opened for in the ribbon. Yeah, here as soon as I click on the chart, it will give me the new chart option wherein I can play with this chart. Okay, let me open this ribbon as of now so that we can see all the relevant charts. Yeah, so I'll have a single or a classic ribbon, sorry. So I have this ribbon open. So what are the various options that are available? So we'll explore all this option and subsequently in next video, we'll get into detail of the individual charts that are available. Okay. So I'll skip the chart type as of now. Let me just get this a little down here so that you can explore the chart ribbon here. So let me have this. Okay. So we can see this chart and the chart ribbon. Okay. Right now we have this IDs in the x-axis. Always this is the x-axis. Let me again denote it so that you can understand what you mean by x-axis. So in charts, this is the x-axis. This is the vertical y-axis. And in combo charts, you will get one more y-axis on the right-hand side. You can do that. Okay, you can have multiple y-axis and plot multiple data onto this y-axis. Okay, so this is x-axis and these are multiple y-axis. Let me clear all the drawings. This is the label that you have. This is the chart title. You may have data labels. We'll see them subsequently during our uh, various sections of charts when you go through. These are the y-axis label. These are the x-axis labels. Yeah. So whatever is being plotted on x-axis has been shown here. Y-axis has been shown here. Okay. Now let me go back to the chart. So what happens in chart is you have multiple options. So what are those multiple options that I can switch rows to column? Okay, so I can say switch row to column. You can see now the series are being added here and you have the ID and the sales being plotted separately. So it switches rows to columns and columns to rows. Okay, let me remove the drawings. Okay, so you can see the effect, what is actually happening in this when I'm switching rows to columns. Okay. Next is select data. So if I want to select the data of this chart, I can select the data. So it opens the chart window and I can change the data. Suppose from B11, I just want till B5. So I can change the data and I'll say, okay, I have this chart. Okay, so this is how you select data for the chart. It's a window which appears on the right hand side. Yeah, which will help you to make the changes on the chart. I can add a field if I want. Yeah, this is for setup. I can have multiple columns being added here. So I can select the data from here, add a field, add a new field, and I can select Feb sales. Yeah, till 5. Yeah, I say okay. You will find this being included in the chart now. So the Feb sales is now included here. Okay. I can again switch back to my rows and column as in how I require it. Okay. So this is just for your reference so that you understand what exactly the changes that we do are used for in this particular chart. So we have seen two options. First is switch row and columns where we are trying to switch the data. Second is the addition of new series. So I delete the series as of now so that we have this proper chart being added. Yeah, so I have the sales data for the IDs 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, very clear. So let me go back to the chart option. So we have seen this, we have seen this. We have the change chart type we'll see in our next section as we go into the subsequent charts available. Right now, we'll just see what are the formatting options available uh, in this ribbon as well as in the right hand side window that we'll get for formatting of charts. So this is chart title. So as I told you, this is your chart title. I can change the chart title. I do not want a chart title. I can just remove it. I say none. I can have a center overlay chart title, which will say sales data. So, okay, you can see the title appearing over the chart. Yeah. I can have the chart title above the chart. So you can see it is going above the chart. I can edit the chart title. Yeah. I can have change it again, sales raw data. Say, okay, it has been changed. Yeah. So this is how you can make changes to your chart title quickly. There are other options as well. We'll get into that when we get into the format window, which will appear on the right hand side. So these are the options. Next is the axis title. So you have the horizontal axis. I told you this is the horizontal axis. If I do not want any title, I'll say none. Yeah. If I want any title to be included on the horizontal, a title below axis, I will say ID and I'll say okay. And the ID, the title of this x-axis will appear. Yeah. Same way, axis, I'll say the title below axis, which I have shown, I have said no, it will not disappear. I can further edit the horizontal chart axis. I can give it another name. Yeah. Same way, the same thing can be done for vertical axis. I can have uh, no vertical axis. Currently, I do not have. I can edit the vertical axis and say sales, and I'll say amount. Okay, you'll find the sales amount appearing here in a vertical way. Yeah, and I can have it. I can rotate the title. Yeah, I can. Right now, it is already rotated by default. I can have vertical title. You can see how it is showing as of now. You can also have a horizontal title. You can see how it is appearing right now. Just have a look at this title which I'm showing for vertical axis. I can have the rotate title, which is by default. It appears this way and looks good as well. And it takes minimum area on this chart so that you can see the chart better rather than the title. This is for your understanding. Now, this makes the chart look better whenever you are showing it to someone because some other person who is looking at the chart will never know what this means. So you need to always have titles for your horizontal and vertical axis. Yeah. So I can insert a title for my horizontal axis saying customer ID. Okay. So I have this horizontal title as well and the vertical title as well. So till now, we have seen switch row, columns, select data, chart title. We have seen axis title. Now we move to legend. Now legend is what I told you here. So this is the legend. So when I'm talking about legend, how you want to show the legend. If I do not want to show the legend, it turns off, you do not see the legend. Legend means what does this chart represent? What does this brown vertical rectangle tell you? What is it all about? That's why we require a legend. So I'll say show legend to the right. So it will show to the right that it is a sales Jan data which is being shown here. That's the legend. You can show it at the top, below the title. You can move it to the left, how you want it to be shown. I can have it at the bottom. Mostly I prefer it at the bottom. Uh, Overlay legend at left. I can overlay over the chart. So you can see it has appeared at the left, but it is coming above the chart. That's overlay. You can overlay legend at the right. So you can have it on the chart on the right. Yeah. And so these are the options, but there are various other options as well, which you can play around with legend. I prefer it at the bottom. So I have kept it at the bottom as of now. So that's the legend that you are working on. Apart from that, you can have data labels. So I can have name. So when I'm talking about data label, what this particular graph stands for, what is the, when I hover over it, I can see the data. So what is the data on this for this particular axis? So I can say show as data label, I can show it as a data below the graph. So this particular data is 3,500, this particular data is 2,200, or I can have data as with legend keys. You can see it is having this legend key now. What does it? If I have multiple columns, so suppose I drag this and make it till March. So I have multiple columns. So I have this legend which stands for orange, which is showing me the data here. Yeah, pretty easy to understand when I have the data. Or I can say I do not want the data labels. I'll say no. I do not want the data labels. Okay. So these are some of the label options that you can use within the chart to make your chart more explanatory, make your chart more easily understandable by the audience so that they can relate the data, they can understand what has been presented into this visualization. Next are various axis options. So for horizontal axis, I can show do not display the horizontal axis. So it has removed the horizontal axis. uh, you can have left to right axis, or I can you can see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now I can move it from right to left. So you can see 5 is being moved this side, and the axis has been moved, the vertical axis has been moved to the right hand side. I can have axis uh, show axis without labeling. So I can have my axis without labeling. So the labels which were there below the graph has been disappeared. So I always prefer having it from left to right axis, and I need the labels below. So 1, 2, 3, 4, so I can identify which kind of data I'm looking at. Yeah. Same way, the same thing can be done for your vertical axis. You can have none, none. So I do not have any vertical axis if those are self-explanatory. I can have a default axis which is already available. You can see the changes that is happening to the vertical axis here. I can have show axis in thousands. So here it is in thousands. So the data labels which are there are being converted into 1000, 2000s and all. You can have the vertical axis in millions. Yeah. The data is not that big, hence billions log scale. So you have different types of scales that can be used on the vertical axis. I would say show me the default, which is in the actual figures that are for the sales amount. The next in the option axis option is the grid lines. So you can have no grid lines. So the grid lines below behind the graph has disappeared. I can have major grid lines. So you can have these grid lines. I can have minor grid lines. So you get more detailed lines. You can see here the blue ones. You can also have major and minor grid lines both. So you can see there is a major grid line which is in dark gray, where the light gray, which are minor grid lines. Yeah. So this is how you can have the grid lines. I prefer having major grid lines, which could help me to track what my data is trending around. If there is a huge amount of differentiations on the vertical axis, I prefer where major grid lines. Same way, I can have for vertical grid lines, I can have none. Currently, I do not have any grid lines. You can also have vertical grid line like the major grid lines. You can see there is a grid line that has come vertically. You can have minor grid lines for vertical as well. You can see here vertical minor grid lines. You can see there are vertical minor grid lines that have come here right now. I can again have both major and minor which have come here. So this is the major grid line. This is the minor grid line that we have. Yeah. So this is how you can work around on formatting your chart towards making it look better when you are presenting it to someone, or you are showing it to some of the people who are looking at your data, so that they can compare it. That's more important. Okay. Now, the most important part that you need to look at is the format option. Now, if I go to the chart, that if you click on format, there is a window that will open up on the right hand side. It shows me almost the same options that we had on the ribbon. So if you see this ribbon, you had the chart title, which is available here, axis titles, which is available as horizontal and vertical axis separately. You have the legend, which is again available here. Yeah. You have the data labels, which is available here. You can turn on and off. Yeah. And you have the data table. Okay, which is again available. So you have the data labels in this series, which we'll see one by one. So what does this format option has? So let me click on the chart, go to data, we'll see one by one. So this provides you from where the data for this chart has been taken from. Okay, so this is the source of the data. Okay, let me come back. This is okay. Yeah. Let me just scroll on the right hand side so that you can see what is happening on the chart. I can have data field split column wise or row wise. So if I say row, it will split the data row wise. If I say column, it will split the data column wise. This is again the same option that we had, rows, switch rows to column. Yeah. So if I switch rows to column, it happens this way. If I say column, uh, rows to column or column to rows, it see the changes of data that is happening. Yeah. So it shows the columns in the rows. Yeah. So this was our row column title, sales Jan, sales Feb. So it shows all the Jan data for individual IDs in one section. Yeah, you can see it that way, or I can switch it having one ID for all the 3 quarters. Yeah, the way you want it to be shown in your data. Gaps, you want zeros to be incorporated, or if there are any gaps to be incorporated. If you do not want to consider any value, show data in hidden rows as well. So if I try to hide any data, so if I try to hide this data, I'll say hide row 3. My data in this particular section has gone. So again, I'll show you. Yeah, so there was a second ID which was available. Now, if I try to hide this, the second one of the ID is gone. So for that, I need to click on this to again show me the one which was hidden. So show data in hidden columns as well. Yeah. Horizontal axis, what is available on the horizontal axis? If I want to have a horizontal axis, I want to add the IDs. So I'll say IDs from 1 to 5. That is what I'm looking at. I'll say okay. So it is showing me the ID now. Yeah. So let me have A2. I'm very sorry. I need to select it properly. Yes. A2 to A5. So it is giving me the IDs now in this horizontal axis. Let's go to the format option once again. So what we have seen till now is the data tab. I can remove any of the column values that I have selected, which will remove, suppose I want to remove the March section, which is available as this dark brown line. So if I remove this, you will find one of the columns have been disappeared from each ID. Yeah, so I can move this up if I want the February to be shown, the latest month be shown earlier rather than the previous months. I'll just move it up and Feb is now at the first rather than Jan. So I see the latest month first. Yeah. So this is how you can format your chart towards towards making it look better and presentable to the audience. Okay. So this was all about formatting your data to look at to make it look better. If I want to add more values, I can say add again new values. I can select the data for March and I'll say okay. And there is a new column that has appeared now. Yeah. So you can see here a new bar has appeared in this column chart. Okay. Now let's move to the format tab. As I told you, these options are again available, which we have seen earlier. The label options that we have seen are available here. Axis, grid lines, format, everything is available here. Okay, but let's go into more detail now. Okay, we have seen making it on and off. It will remove or add the titles. You can change the chart title. I'll say sales data. Yeah. Whether how you want to position the chart title above or overlay, however you want it to be. Yeah. You can change the font. Now this has more options as I told you. So I can change the font to something like Arial Black. I can increase or decrease the font. Yeah. I can make it the color of the font as a different one. I can have a green color to it. I can have a fill. I can have something behind it to reflect. Yeah. I can have an outline of black around the title. Yeah. So this is how you can format the chart title. Same way for legend, whether you want it at bottom. So this is the legend. You want it bottom or top or left or right. As I told you, I prefer bottom, so I am keeping it at the bottom. Same way for legend as well. I can change the font, make it Arial black, or I can make it Aptos narrow. I can increase or decrease the font. I can have italic, underline. You can see there is an underline that has come below the legends. I can decrease the legends size. Yeah, I can have a fill. I can have a background to the entire legend. Yeah, I can have an outline of green. Yeah, you can see there is an outline that has come uh, on the legend. Yeah. So this is how you format your legend. Same way for horizontal axis, how do you want the gap width? So there is a width between each bar chart. So if I want to decrease the width, yeah. If I want to increase the width, so you can see how the chart are becoming bigger or smaller depending on the width that I choose. So if I lower the width, the charts will come more closer. So if I reduce the width or increase the width, the chart will be away from each other. Whether you want the major type, yeah. No, if I want it outside, yeah. If I want the minor type inside, yeah. Or I want none for minor. I do also want none for the tick marks that I require. I do not want. Or if I want the tick marks outside, yeah. Now these are very small changes. You will see them. Uh, okay, let me show you where it will appear so that you can have a look at it. This is appearing here. Yeah, so there are small tick marks. You can see it is giving me at the major right now on the outside. Yeah, let me change it. I'll show you what happened. So I wanted at cross. Yeah, I wanted inside. So it has gone inside. It is, we do not have any major tick marks. You want minor tick mark which should to be outside. So you can see there are minor tick mark now that has come out. There are small ticks that has come out which you can see here. Yeah, you also want major tick marks. You can also have major tick marks. So you have major and minor tick mark both available right now on this line now. Yeah, whether you want the categories in reverse order, so you can the same thing that we did earlier through the menu. Yeah, vertical axis, maximum axis. You want the maximum axis to be shown. You want automatic, whatever it may. How you want to position the label. The label that we had, that is customer ID, whether you want it high, yeah, whether you want it low, whether you want it next to the axis, yeah, whether you want it none. I do not want any label positions. I usually prefer low so that I can see the axis layer, the series legends as well. Yeah, I just delete the drawings. Okay. Yeah. And lastly, you can always have this uh, various options of formatting the font. I can change the fonts of this labels or the legends or the title, the or rather than title, that the labels of this axis that are available. I'm changing them. I'm changing the font of this. I can have the fonts been reduced or increased, make them bold, italic, underline, whatever it may be, or I can change the color, whichever suits you. I usually prefer putting the colors which are there for your company. Yeah. So the company colors should be available on your chart. That looks it more better when you're looking at the data. I can remove the grid lines as I told you earlier. Yeah. I can have the grid lines, major grid lines. I can have an outline in black. You can see now I can see the major grid lines in black. Yeah. This is for horizontal axis. I can have minor grid lines again. I just make them disappear. Or if I want to have them, I want with a different color called green. I have this for my horizontal axis. Yeah, I can fill the labels which are available here with yellow. Can see there is a yellow background being coming and for each label. Okay, this was for horizontal axis. Now we move on to the vertical axis. Vertical axis, I can define the major and the minimum value that needs to it to start from. So it should start from 0 to 7,000. I can reduce the maximum to 5,000. Yeah, you can see the maximum mark is 5,000, but you lose some of the chart data which is going above 5,000. So this particular chart is up to 6,000, which I would miss. So I would keep it to 6,500. If I want to keep, this is more to do with formatting of your data so that you keep your data in check and you can see the entire data as well. You can have the major lines defined how you want to have it as. So I want to have it at 500. The major line should always come at 500. Minor line should come at 50. Yeah. So I can define at what interval this line should appear on your graph. Okay, tick marks again outside. If you want them outside, you get them outside. If you want minor tick mark outside, you can get the minor tick marks outside. Again, you cannot see them right now. These are very minor tick marks. You can see there are some line coming out of this graph. These are the tick marks that are available. Yeah. Let me see if I make them a little bigger so that you can see the tick marks. Okay, so you can see there are some minor lines that are coming out of the graph. You can see them as a dot here. Those are the tick marks. Okay, let me reduce the graph again. Then you can have the values in reverse order as we did for horizontal. Then you can have the logarithmic scale, which we mostly use for statistic purpose. Right now, we'll just keep it aside. Whether you want the horizontal axis maximum via values, yeah, you want it to be customized or you want it to be automatic, you just keep it automatic as of now. Label position, where you want it low, how you want to place this label position, whether you want to keep it none. I do not want the labels that are there for the vertical axis, but usually you should keep it as a good practice. So I keep it low. So I have all my labels being provided here. Format code, how you want to format your data. So I'm just making a lot of things. So how you want the number format to be. So whether you want it to be currency, can see there is a dollar sign that has appeared. I can change the signs wherever I require. So being an Indian, I would like to have Indian rupee. So let me see if you have an Indian rupee here. Let me delete. Okay. Indian rupee. Do you have GHI? Yeah, you have this rupee being presented here. Okay. So if I want to present something as individual rupees, that I can do that. I can format the data how I want it to be presented in this particular data. I can do that. So this is more to do with formatting your fonts. I can have a number, just the number. I do not want any currency. I can have the decimals in place as well. So I can say uh, 0.00. So I have two decimals being placed if I have any in the data. Yeah. Negative numbers, how it should be represented. Again, the fonts that is there. Okay. So this is the vertical axis formatting. So there are many options as compared to what we had in the chart above, or the ribbon section of chart. Yeah. Then we have individual series options. So series, this is to the specific series. So if this is brown in color, the sales Jan figures are brown in color. I can, if I want to highlight it and specifically make it red, I'll say red. So you can see the entire Jan figures are being shown in red as of now. Or if I want to make it much lighter, I'll say yellow. So that gets highlighted. This is majorly used to highlight a specific series if you wanted to highlight it to your management. Yeah. Same way, if you want to have data labels, you can see the data labels are on this chart, which you can have here. You can have the series name, yeah, being printed along with data labels. I do not want them. If you want category name be printed along with the data labels, usually you do not do that. You just need the value and show leader lines. If I want to remove the leader lines, I'll remove that as well. Yeah, then you have the legend key, which you can add. So this is the yellow, which is being represented for the chart, hence the legend key. I do not want it because I have already shown the legend below the graph. Yeah, if you want to show the comma separator for this particular data, which I usually do, but I'll just keep it aside as of now. You can have the data, the labels which are available being centered. So it appears in the center of the particular graph for which you have selected the label. I can have at inside end. So inside this graph at the end, I can have it outside end, which was earlier. I can inside base, which will come at the lower end of the graph. So you can place your label wherever you want. I usually prefer it outside end so that I can see the entire graph, and at the end, I can see the data labels. So this is all about data labels for a particular chart. Now I can change the formatting. You can see this is pretty self-explainable as we have done for the other options. I can make the fonts a little smaller. Yeah. I can fill the background with a grayish color. So I have the background for this. Same way for vertical, if I have a vertical error bar, I can have a trend line being placed. So you can see there is a trend line, red dotted line being put for this yellow Jan sales figure, how it is trending. So I can have a trend line for a particular sales that is available. I can have a linear line, I can have an exponential line, I can have a logarithmic line, I can have a moving average line. Yeah. So you can have various lines available according to your understanding. This is a polynomial line. Yeah, this is a linear line. So you can understand. You can have an intercept, which is available right now. I do not want to keep any kind of intercept. Whether I want to forecast. So I can forecast for one. Yeah. So it is giving me a further forecast for this particular Jan month. So I'm saying the further ID that would be available would be trending here based on the trend line that is available. So if this is forward forecast, what can happen in future? If I want to backward forecast it, I want backward forecast it to probably 3 months, 3 IDs. So I can do that as well. So I say 3. Oh, I need to make this 0 so that I can use one forecast at a time. It's not backward forecast. Yeah. So forecast is always forward. So that's how it happens. And this is specific to Jan. I can have multiple forecast for all the graphs that are all the series that are available. So I can open this particular thing and I can say I need the forecast or a trend line for this particular month as well. That is Feb sales. And I want a forecast of 3 months, three IDs on this particular thing. So you can see there are three uh, sections that are being created and a trend line that has been going up for Feb vis-a-vis trend line for Jan, which we have seen for the series. Where is the Jan series? Okay, so I have not selected any, so I make it 3. So you can see the Jan trend line is going down for down, whereas the Feb trend line is going up. This is not the right way because usually you will have trend line for time series data. That is when you're trying to understand the data over a period. This is the wrong way of interpretation, but I wanted to show you the options that are available. So as soon as you open the data, the series data for a particular section, it will give you a lot of options. So we opened the Jan data and we explored a lot of options that are available. There are data labels, that are vertical error bar, there's trend line, you will have a trend line 2, which could be a different type of trend line. It could be an polynomial trend line for Jan. So you can have multiple types of trend line being available here. I can have another trend line. So you have a keep on adding various trend lines as and how you want to analyze this particular data. Yeah, same way you can forecast it forward. Yeah, you can have equations being put in how you want to know whether you want to know R squared. This is more of a statistical concept, but I wanted to show you how you can get it rather than what is the understanding which you can see in other section when we deal with statistics. So this is R square. What is the trend line? What is the R square for this particular trend line, whether it is relevant to this particular data or not, and the slope of the data. Yeah. So currently I am not getting into equations or R squared of this particular data. I'm just showing you the various options that are available. So you can have the statistical understanding of this data as well, which is available on this line over here. So I'll just keep it aside as of now. You can add multiple trend lines. Same way you can do it for other series as well, which is available. Yeah, it's the same for all series. Yeah, so you can forecast, you can have a trend line to your data. You can play around with your data as and how you want to analyze it in your graph. Yeah. Next is the data labels, which you have seen whether you want a horizontal data label, you want a vertical data label. If I want to remove the horizontal data label, I just click on it and it will be removed. If I want to remove the vertical data table, I'll remove it. So you can see the table being changed every time I try to add anything over here. Yeah, if I want to remove the outline from the data table, it has removed the outline as well. If I want to show the legends, if I do not want to show the legends, you can see the table changes that is happening here. I can change the format. I can have it Arial. I can make it smaller in font. You can see the data table fonts been changing. I can make it bold, italic, whatever I want it to do. And lastly, I can make the chart colored into a different color. You can see there's a background that has come for this particular data within the chart. Yeah, I can have an outline in black for this table, which has a. So these are various ways in which you can add your chart, format your chart. The formatting options remain same for every chart that you use. If there is anything which is specifically covered for a specific chart, I will definitely tell you when I cover the chart. Yeah. So this is the basic understanding that you need to have about chart and how you can play along with the options that are available within the chart that we have seen right now. In our next video, we'll dwell into the various chart types and understand the nuances of using those charts in Excel. Yeah. I hope I was able to make the concepts clear, how to format charts, how to add charts uh, in Excel. I have specifically shown this in 365, but you can use it in your normal Excel as well, which will help you to understand what type of charts that are available. Yeah. Hope I was able to make the concepts clear on charts, how to add them, how to format them. Hope you like this video. Do like it, share it across with your colleagues who want to learn Excel. Comment if you want me to cover any topics in the 365 days of Excel journey. And yes, do not forget to subscribe to my channel because that's how you're going to get automated notifications about any future videos that I add on YouTube. And lastly, uh, this will also keep me motivated towards creating such free content for your people. Thank you so much.